Good morning, friends. We are going to start the revision lecture for today. So we'll go quickly through a few chapters. So we have got sums here. If a point C lies between 2 points A and B such that AC equal to BC, then prove AC equal to half AB and explain using a figure. So what are we given? We are given points AB and the point C lies in between. So what are we given? AC equal to BC. We add AC to both sides and we get 2AC equal to AB. So AC is equal to half AB. Now, in the question 4 itself, we have to prove the other way around. C lies between A and B such that AC equal to BC. We have to prove C is the midpoint of AB. So here, we take an assumption that let C prime be the midpoint of AB. Let there be two midpoints. So AC equal to half AB, AC prime equal to half AB, but that shows AC equal to AC prime. And that is only possible when C and C prime coincide. So C prime lies on C itself, so it is only one and only one point. Now look at the figure. We are given AC equal to BD and AB equal to CD. Okay? So we have to prove that AC equal to AB equal to CD. It is clear that AC equal to AB plus BC, BD equal to BC plus CD, given AC equal to BD. So AB plus BC equal to BC plus CD. When you subtract BC from both sides, we get AB equal to CD. Now, the question, why is axiom 5 the list of Euclid's axiom considered a universal truth? So, the axiom 5 says that the whole is always greater than the part, and that will remain true for anywhere in the world. I have given a small example, you can see that PQ equal to 8 centimeter, PR equal to 5. So, when a point PR lies on PQ, it has to be smaller than PQ. Now, Euclid's fifth postulate is very important. When a line falls on two lines such that the interior angles on the same side of the transversal is 180 degree, then the lines will be parallel. Now another question, an angle is 26 degrees more than its complement, what is its measure? So we know the complementary angle, the sum is 90 degree. So the statement says x equal to 26 plus 90 minus x. So when we solve it, we get x equal to 58 degree. So 58 is the complement of the angle, which is 26 more than its complement. So what are we given? An angle is 26 more than its complement. So what is the complement of 26? So we have got two angles. One is 58. The other one will be the next sum, AB equal to x plus 3, BC equal to 2x and AC equal to 4x minus 5. Then for what value of x B lies on AC? So if B lies on AC, then we have AC equal to AB plus BC. That is 4x minus 5 equal to x plus 3 plus 2x. 4x minus 5 equal to 3x plus 3. 4x minus 3x equal to 3 plus 5. So we get x is equal to 8. So if you put the values and verify, you will get the answer. Now in the figure, we are given AB equal to BC, BX equal to BY. We have to show AX equal to CY. So we are given AB equal to BC and BX equal to BY. Subtract equation 2 from equation 1, and Euclid's theorem says that subtracting equals from equals are equals. So AB minus BX equal to BC minus BY, but AB minus BX equal to AX and BC minus BY equal to CY, hence it is proved. Now we are given an equilateral triangle is a polygon made up of 3 line segments, out of which 2 line segments are equal to the third one and all its angles are 60 degree each. That is the definition of an equilateral triangle. So quick revision for all the definitions which can be asked in your test. Polygon, a closed figure made of 3 or more line segments. Line segments, part of a line with 2 endpoints. Line is an undefined term, point is also an undefined term. Angle, a figure formed by two rays with a common initial point. Acute angle, an angle whose measure is between 0 and 90 degree. Now these are the Euclid's the postulates. A point that is which has no part, a line, these are not usually asked in the exam, but just for the sake of revision, it is shown here. Now the axiom, the important axiom. If a transversal intersects two parallel lines, then each pair of corresponding angles is equal. So if the lines are parallel, the corresponding angles are equal. So here we have got angle 1 equal to angle 5, angle 2 equal to angle 6, angle 3 equal to angle 7, angle 4 equal to angle 8. Those angles are called corresponding angles. So when the lines are parallel, the corresponding angles are equal. And if the corresponding angles are equal, conversely will mean the lines are parallel. Now got theorem 1. If a transversal intersects two parallel lines, then each pair of alternate interior angles are equal. So which are the alternate interior angles here? 3 and 5 and 4 and 6. So these are the theorems we have got in the exam. If a transversal intersects, these are only for understanding. If a transversal intersects two lines and then the pair of alternate interior angles is equal, then the two lines are parallel. If a transversal intersects two parallel lines, then each pair of interior angles on the same side of the transversal is supplementary. So if they are on the same side of the transversal, the sum of the two will be 180 degrees. The theorem 4 states, if a transversal intersects two lines so that the pair of the interior angles on the same side of the transversal is supplementary, then the two lines are parallel. Now transversal, what is the definition of a transversal? A straight line which cuts two or more straight lines at distinct points is called a transversal line. So in the figure you can see we have got two lines M and N cut by a line L. So L is the transversal of the line M and N. And it makes how many angles? 8 angles. So the linear pairs are 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4, 4 and 1, 5 and 6, 6 and 7, 7 and 8, 8 and 5. 1, 2, 7 and 8 are called exterior angles. 3, 4, 5 and 6 are called interior angles. 1, 4, 5 and 8, 2, 3, 6 and 7 are on the same side of the transversal. The corresponding angles, like I told you, is 1 and 5, 2 and 6, 3 and 7, 4 and 8. The alternate angles are 3 and 5, 4 and 6. There is an alternate interior. The alternate exterior are 1 and 7, 2 and 8. The interior angles on the same side of the transversal are 4 and 5, 3 and 6. So the axiom is stating that if the lines are parallel, the corresponding angles are equal. And the converse, like I told you, if the corresponding angles are equal, the lines are parallel. Okay? Now, if a transversal intersects two parallel lines, then each pair of alternate interior angles are equal. We are given AB is parallel to CD and a transversal L cuts AB at P and CD at Q. So they make two pair of alternate angles, 3 and 5, 4 and 6. We have to prove angle 3 equal to angle 5 and angle 4 equal to angle 6. So 1 is equal to 3, which are vertically opposite, but 1 is equal to 5, which is corresponding. So we get angle 3 equal to angle 5. Similarly, 2 is equal to 4, vertically opposite, 2 is equal to 6 corresponding, hence we have angle 4 equal to angle 6. So alternate angles are equal. Then here we have got now, if the alternate angles are equal, then we have to prove the lines are parallel. So same way, 3 is equal to 5, 4 is equal to 6. So we have got angle 1 is equal to angle 5. But the corresponding angles are equal, so the lines are parallel. So it is proved. So these are the theorems we have, which are not going to be asked in the exam. This is just for revision's sake with the proof. So we can now move on to the sums. Okay. Now we move to the chapter on probability. Can the expected probability of an event be a negative number? No, it can never be a negative number. Can 8 by 7 be an empirical probability? No, because 8 by 7 is greater than 1. The probability always lies between 0 and 1. A die is thrown 50 times and the outcomes are recorded as shown in the figure. If a die is thrown at random, what is the probability of getting 8? So, you cannot get 8 because there is no number 8 on the die. The die only has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And the question, a die is thrown 6 times and the outcomes are recorded. What is the probability that it is a prime number? So, which are the prime numbers here? 2, 3 and 5. Probability of getting a 2 is 1 upon 6. Probability of getting a 3 is 1 upon 6. probability of getting a phi is 1 upon 6. So the total probability is 1 by 6 plus 1 by 6 plus 1 by 6 is 3 by 6 or 1 by. Next question, in a cricket match, Shane Warne takes 3 wickets from 27 balls he bowls. Find the probability of batsman not getting out by Shane Warne's bowling. So, he takes 3 wickets of 27 balls. The probability of getting a wicket is 1 upon 9. The probability of not getting a wicket is 1 minus 1 upon 9, that is 8 upon 9. The probability of a student getting grades A, B, C are 0.2, 0.3, 0.15 and 0.35. Find the probability he gets at least a C grade. At least a C grade means he can get a B or a C. So A is 0.2, B is 0.3 and C is 0.5. So at least a C is 0.2 plus 0.3 plus 0.15 equal to 0.65. 2 coins are tossed 1000 times and the outcomes are recorded as below. Number of heads are given. Based on the information, find the probability that getting at most one head, 0 head or 1 head. So 0 head is 250 upon 1000 and 1 head is 550 upon 1000. So the at most one head, at most means the most is 1, so it can be 0 or 1, so we add the two probabilities and get the answer 0.8. If the probability of winning a race of an athlete is 1 by 6 less, then twice the probability of losing the race. So what is the question here? The probability of winning is 1/6 less than twice losing. So the equation is P of W winning is 2 P of L minus 1 by 6. So 1 minus P of L equal to 2 P of L minus 1 by 6, or 1 plus 1 by 6 is 2 PL plus PL. So 3 PL is 7 by 6 or PL equal to 7 by 18. So probability of winning is 1 minus P of L, 1 minus 7 by 18, that is 11 by 18. Given below is the frequency distribution of daily wages. You can see the table, the number of the daily wages. Okay. Find the probability that the wage is less than 150 rupees. Now less than 150 rupees means only two possibilities are there. Either 110 to 130 or 130 to 150. So even and E2 be the event. So P of E1 is 3 by 30 and P of E2 is 4 by 30. So getting a probability less than 150 is the sum of both, that is 7 by 30. The same way the question continues, at least 210 rupees. So at least 210 rupees means what? It is between 200 means 210 to 230 or 230 to 250. At least the minimum. So that is, let us call them event 3 and 4. So P of E3 is 4 by 30, P of E4 is 3 by 30. So at least 210 rupees is the sum of both. So 3 by 30 by 4 by 30 is 7 by 30. In the same question, at least 150 rupees. So when you get at least 150 means between 150 to 170, 170 to 190, 190 to 210. Okay. So at least 150 rupees but less than 210. So these are the probabilities. You add them together, 5 by 30, 6 by 30 and 7 by 5 by 30, and you get the answer 8 by 50. In the same question, in the interval 19 to 250. Now from 190 to 250 lies in which range? 190 to 210, 210 to 230, 230 to 200. So we have the probability adding up, 5 by 30 plus 4 by 30 plus 3 by 30 is 12 by 30 or 2 by 5. The next question, a survey of 200 people was conducted about the preference of visiting various pavilions during a trade fair. So we have got good living, Delhi pavilion, toy pavilion and defense pavilion. The number of people. So find the probability of both good living or Delhi pavilion. So good living or Delhi pavilion. So let E1 and E2 be the events, and good living is 95 upon 200 and Delhi pavilion is 45 upon 200. So when we say or, we add them up. So 95 by 200 plus 45 by 200 is 7 by 10. Okay, so the next question, only the defense pavilion. So defense pavilion is 20 by 200 or 1 upon 10. Only the toy pavilion is 40 by 200 or 1 upon 5. And toy pavilion or defense pavilion. So toy pavilion is 40 by 200 and defense pavilion is 20 by 200. So when we say or, we add them up. 40 by 200 plus 20 by 200 is 60 by 200 or 3 by 10. So I have completed the sums on chapter number 5, chapter number 6 and chapter number 15, probability, which is going to be the part of your exam. This is a very quick revision. If you want a detailed revision, you can go to my previous videos which I have posted on my channel. Okay, and in case of any doubts, you can revert back to me. Thank you.